So what kind of response should we expect that a true representative of Christ to get? What kind of response would they get? You know, if you're truly an ambassador for Christ, what kind of response should you get? Well, let's consider Jesus. Would you call Jesus a good representative of himself? Well, of course you would. Well, let's consider Christ. Christ grew in favor with God and men until, listen to me, until he began his ministry. Once he began his ministry, he lasted 3.5 years, and he was hanging on a stake, a cross, crucified. Oh, he grew in favor with God and man until he began his ministry. His ministry lasted 3.5 years, and he was killed by religious people. Why? Because he disagreed with them. He told them they're wrong. He told them their religion was in vain. And the religious fanatics of Jesus' day killed him. His ministry lasted 3.5 years. So I'm asking the question, do you really want to be an ambassador for Christ? You think so? Do you really think so? You know, just recently I was watching some pablum on the religious channel on cable TV. And, you know, they closed out their program and they said, and remember, Jesus is Lord. And I thought, that is so fake. They can't even say it with sincerity. It made me nearly want to throw up when I heard that because it was so unreal. Do you really want to be an ambassador for Christ? Well, let's take a look at the heroes of faith who were ambassadors for Christ. Hebrews 11 and verse 35. Here's your true ambassadors. Women received their dead raised to life again. Well, that's good. Others, though, were tortured, not accepting deliverance that they might obtain a better resurrection. Well, what is this about a better resurrection? Have you ever heard of the fact that there are two resurrections and one is referred to as the better? You never heard that in church, huh? Well, if you've never heard this, chances are you're going to be in the second resurrection, which is not necessarily bad. It's just that the better resurrection is the first resurrection, okay? All right, Hebrews 11 and verse 36. It says, and others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings. Do you know what that means to be scourged? Many, criminals on sailing ships back in the days of pirate ships, they were killed from a scourging. Scourging is a stick with leather, bands running out of it. And in the end of the leather band is pieces of bone, rock, metal. And that's how you were scourged with a cat o' nine tails. And it was a hideous, many people died from the scourging. Jesus was scourged. So we're talking about true representatives of Christ here. Yeah, moreover of bonds and imprisonment. In prison. I don't like that one. But we're talking about true representatives here. Verse 37, they were stoned. You know what that means, don't you? They were sawn asunder. That means sawed in two. Just where did they start? Where did they place the saw when they begin to saw the person in two? We're talking true representatives of Christ here. They were tempted. They were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented. Verse 38, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and caves of the earth. Listen, do you really want to be an ambassador for Christ? Oh, I just love the Lord. I just love Jesus. I'm heaven bound. There's a cabin in the sky, so be careful when you step out the door. You want to be an ambassador for Christ? Do you want to represent Christ, though?
Is that really in the Bible? What you think is in the Bible is not.